Hey everybody out there, my name is Dragnix, and this is Holy Potatoes, a weapon shop. It's $14.99, came out on the Steam store Monday. Now, this video is a little late. I will get into exactly why that is, but basically the game is a weapon shop simulator. Think Wreck-to-Tier a little bit, but without the action portions of it, and a little bit more depth in the weapon creation. You can make anything that you really want in this game, and you'll see a lot of references to older games, to other games, so on and so forth. This game definitely has a charm to it, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. It's not a game for everyone, and it does have some flaws to it, but we're going to start the game here. I am Sid, and this is my weapon shop. Now, you'll notice there's a lot going on here. I've got, seven potatoes here. Yes, they're potatoes. Don't know why they're potatoes, but they decided to go with potatoes. You got a little statue there. You got a dog. There's a lot going on here, and there's a lot of detail in terms of the simulation. First, let's look at Winry Stonebell here. Again, there are a lot of different characters, anime, TV, a lot of famous ones. Now, each character will have a specific set of stats and an attribute to them. So, for example, a mechanic is the role, and she has 4 different stats: attack, speed, accuracy, and magic. These 4 stats are used to improve weapons, and depending on which stat is higher, it's going to improve that weapon that much more. So, for example, Winry is a lot better at magic than anything else, and then accuracy right around the corner. But the big part of the game here is to forge weapons. How do I know what to forge? Well, I know how to forge it by what weapons I want to sell. And so I'm going to go to this place I'm going to sell here and take a look at some of these heroes that I'm going to sell to. So, for example, this illusionist wants magic and speed. He likes wands and staffs, but doesn't like daggers and axes. The witch doctor likes wands, staves, and daggers, but doesn't like, other ranged weapons. So you know what you can sell based off this, and each of them have levels. We'll get to that in a little bit, but I'm going to forge a weapon for you guys here. And this is going to be a wand. I'm a white jade wand in particular. Now you notice the stats here, so it's going to grow a lot in magic, some in speed, some in attack, and a little bit in accuracy. Now I need the materials, and you get the materials through different methods in terms of exploring and buying, but we have the materials, and so let's start. So all of our potatoes will go to work here, and you notice the little numbers that are appearing above their head. That's what they're adding to the wand in question. And so you see on the right-hand side, as I go along, I will improve the weapon over again. Now, the attack is getting a little bit of a boost there, but I could change people around to sort of mess around with the stats. So I can move this guy over to the accuracy to improve that, and I can move people around trying to get an improvement on that stat. Now, in a magic boost, you could boost your weapon once, sometimes twice. And so you could choose to bring in a consultant of sorts to really improve it, or you can just improve it with your in-house resources. So I'm going to improve it with Winry, and she's going to go right at it. She's going to improve it in her core stats, and her core stats are magic, accuracy, and a little bit of speed. So she did a pretty good job of improvement, and she in fact leveled up on that, which I'll get to where that level up system works on at this point. So we're going to keep on making the weapon here over and over again, and lo and behold, when it's at 100%, I could put an enchantment on it. Now, this is a wand, so I really do want the magic portion, but I also want a secondary attribute, and I want it to be a little bit more accurate or a little bit faster. So I'm actually going to make it fast by adding the nimble locket to make it its secondary stat. As you saw before, I didn't see anybody who wanted magic and attack, but I saw somebody who wanted magic and speed. Now, you can name your weapon specifically here, and I don't remember what I named this at this point. Something silly. Harry Potter. I'm like, okay, what are the wands called there? I remember Phoenix Tails used, so we'll go with that. So you can see there that its primary status magic and its secondary status speed. Now, like I said, she leveled up and she's at the top of her class in terms of this role. But you want to change roles with a character because you get higher up in terms of a skill tree. As you saw there, she started as a metal worker and an enchanter, and then was able to become a mechanic. So now I want to make her a craftsman, which focuses on speed more than anything else, so that I can get to those higher levels of classes. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. My throat is a little bit dry. We're going to make another weapon here so that I can sell the weapons, and that's a whole nother portion in particular. I'm going to build a needle. Yes, a needle. This game, again, a little bit out there in terms of some of the weapon choices and things like that, but it is a little bit fun in the way that it does it. Now, I'm moving people around to get the stats that I want. Now, you can change it in the middle of things, which I do like, and you also have to keep in mind that there are attributes that are affected, like in terms of the weather and certain events. Weather may have a specific effect on your potatoes. So, like, for example, a potato can come back from, like, the field and be improved in speed, but really bad at attack. And you want to pay attention to that. That little WhatsApp in the right-hand corner there will tell you a lot about what's going on. So keep that in mind, because that could get you really big boosts. And if you don't pay attention to them, you really are going to hurt your characters in terms of the weapons that are created. Now, there is a variety of weapons, but this is the main portion of the game in question. But there is a lot of side stuff to do with the game in question. Now that I've made the needle in question, I want to sell it. Because in order to make money in this world, I'm going to have to sell the weapons I create, of course. So I'm going to choose the phoenix tail and the needle here, and I'm going to sell it to these guys. Now, I actually have to select a smith to choose in order to go out and sell it. That's a skill as well. And so I'm actually going to choose one of our, let's see here, Potato here, and I'm going to sell him. He's a level 3. The higher the merchant skill, the better you're able to sell. Now, you can all do other things as well. You can explore. This is how you get some materials and some relics and enchantments. You saw the enchantments before. Relics are used to make new weapons, like completely new weapons, which I'll get to again a little bit here. There's a lot into this game if you haven't figured that out yet. So I'm trying to figure out who to send out here at this point, because I don't want to specifically screw up anything. I sent out Winry. I could also train people. Now, training does take a little bit of money at this point, so you're going to want to be careful about doing it, because you're going to earn experience otherwise. But if you're like right near the level cap, you may want to choose to actually do it, because you sort of got to be careful with how you change your classes up. The thing is that, like, if you change all the classes at once, it's going to be a huge problem because of the fact that you're going to have people with lower stats. When you change to different stats, your stats will go down most of the time. Now, of course, you have to pay your smiths, and as you saw there, and you have to keep your smiths a little bit happy as well. Which, in this case, I didn't really have to do that in this portion of it, because most of them are happy as it is, but keep that in mind. You could also research weapons. As I said before, you'll find relics, and those relics can be used to make new weapons. Now, I can choose a specific smith here to research. He'll, depending on his skill, he'll, put his skill into it to reduce the time. Also, Tato is here, and I have to choose who to sell this weapon to. Now, you'll notice that on certain elements of it, that there's the price, but there's also the level. Level will also translate to fame. Fame is how you sort of grow, while money is obviously, well, money. So I sell this to Jojo here, and I sell the needle to Ayato Potato. On the left-hand side there, you see there, I have a bunch of potatoes that are doing certain actions, and so once they are done with their action, I'll have to click on them at this point. So there is no pause in this game. I do wish there was, but I understand why they put it that way. You can always pause it with the escape. So Winry didn't do a good job of bringing back a lot of materials at this point. She is low level at this point because I changed her class. I think that makes a part of it, even though she's leveled up in the Explorer skill. Now, Potato was able to get a little bit more money out of him because of his skill in Merchant, and they will grade you on your weapons. For example, the Brisk Needle was fantastic for that Potato because he liked the speed and the attack on it, and it was a sword. So you want to go to the strengths of each weapon, obviously. Our guy is back here. Travel passes are used to unlock new areas. Now, there is a lot I've explained about this game, and now I need to really start to get into exactly what the game is doing otherwise. I also should note that I'm going to notice that he's in a neutral case here, and so I want to send him on vacation. I just want to make him happy. Happier workers means better output. As you see there, Laura Craft, for example, is static. She's going to be pumping out things over and over again. Now, what I've shown you so far, I keep on forgetting about these things. Contracts are ways to earn money rather quickly. It's just that you have to pump a bunch of stats into things. So in this case, I'm going to try to make this soft drink can, and so I'm just going to pump things into that. Now, the game is what you've seen so far. And the thing is that it doesn't do a lot differently outside of what you've seen here. You'll have random people come along, random heroes with, special events. As you see Kratos in the left-hand corner there, he is charged me to make a super weapon for him. The thing is that in simulator games like this, you want it to be simple enough, but with a lot of complexity. The thing that I've noticed about this game, though, is that as it goes along, it gets a lot easier. And what I mean by that is that the first section of levels, it felt like I was struggling to get up and running. And I like that in simulator games. I don't want it to be too crazy, too punishing, but I want the challenge to be there. Now, here's the thing about right now. I've got a bunch of heroes, and I got a bunch of smiths, and I'm doing really well on money. The thing is that the way that the game goes, there's no real incentive to go fast. And unfortunately, because of that, the game also feels a little bit simple once you get to a certain point. Here, I'm just buying decorations if I really need to, but I'm able to get what I need out of the weapons and sell them at a reasonable pace. Unfortunately, again, it's that sort of back and forth where I like the game at its core, and I think the basic concept of it is working mostly because of one thing. Again, if this was just a simulator game in itself, I think it would be sort of, that lower to mid-tier. It's got a lot of options, but it starts to grow samey after a while. The thing is about this game, though, is its charm. The characters that show up, the characters that you can hire, and the little events that happen, the little cutscenes, is what really drives the game. Here, the dagger pins a note to the front of your shop, golden mace. I'm going to make the mace. Oops, I failed. The little animations, the little different characters that show up, that's what makes this game. And if you're a video game fan of all and like simulator games, this is going to be right up your alley because it's got that charm. And Bulk Bogan, for example. I mean, it's got potato puns all over the place. It's got sort of, again, it's hard to put charm into words. It's hard to understand what makes a game so appealing, but I understand at this level, this is something that people can relate to. Yeah, they're little potatoes making weapons. I'm far from being a potato myself. Maybe a couch potato, I guess, but and far from being a weaponsmith. But the relatability of the game in terms of my video game knowledge and everything else brings it to the forefront. I want to see who comes across next for a super weapon. I want to see who I can hire next. I want to see what else is available. And I think that's where the game shines. Now, I mentioned before that this took a while, and the reason why it took a while was after the first day, after the game was released, there was a significant bug that actually screwed up saved games in terms of all the progress that you made was basically canceled to a certain extent. Now, you got certain characters or certain save slots that were okay, but once you got to a certain place where you had enough hires, the game sort of never saved your progress. That's been fixed, but that really does concern me that it released in that state because, again, quality assurance is something obviously is sort of, core to my understanding in terms of I'm a software engineer. And to release the game like that with a significant bug that should have been seen in testing. I'm not talking about some specific scenario here that occurred. That, I pressed X, Y, Z, I spin around 3 times, and then clicked the mouse button twice. No, I'm talking about this is something that should have happened in the natural progression of the game. Everybody was reporting it that got that far. And so I do have to wonder what happened on the developer side to allow that kind of bug to go through. I am sympathetic to people in terms of the development process, but when it comes to the QA stuff like that, especially with something that should have been seen, I'm very much against it. I am a developer, and I probably am harder on that portion than anything else, because again, I've been through that. I've seen where, you should have seen that. You should have understood that. Overall, the game is a charming entertainment in terms of the way it presents itself. The music it'll start to wear on you, but your different choices and your different abilities on everything makes you want to look at it more, makes you want to take a look and see what is going to happen next. Am I going to see a South Park character like Kenny here? Am I going to, find a new weapon? Who's going to show up at my door? And I think that's where I have to say, if you like simulator games, this is doable. It's got a lot of depth in terms of the options there. It does get repetitive, and it does get easy, almost too easy, in fact. But if you want the charm, and if you like what you've seen so far, it's definitely up your alley. And I think that I've enjoyed my time with this. Obviously, the save state problem gave me a huge, oh God, I don't want to play this anymore situation. But I was able to work through it and enjoy the rest of the game at that point. All right, this is Dragnix signing out. I hope you got an understanding of what Holy Potatoes has to offer. Again, I will leave the review in the description below. I will ask people to like, comment, share the video, subscribe, all that jazz, and I will see you guys next week. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you like this content and want to see more of it, you may want to hit that subscribe button on the left-hand side. If you like this video and want to see more of this content, take a look at this video on the left-hand side as well. And if you've missed my last video, take a look at the right-hand side. Once again, thanks for watching, and keep on gaming.